Hi everybody, and you're very welcome to this moonshot where we're going to be discussing how to work with lists in Python. So I'm here in my Jupyter notebook, I've got my text and my code ready, so let's jump right in. So in this moonshot, we're going to learn about Python lists and how to work with elements within the lists we create. Lists do exactly what they say. They store information in one place. A list can be two pieces of information or millions of pieces, and you'll come to see and value how powerful lists are as you start to use them. As your Python experience grows, you are going to be using lists a lot, and you'll learn how they are used across the Python programming world in areas such as data science and analysis and web development. So let's get started. So what makes a list? Well, think of a shopping list. It is made up of items, usually one line at a time, or one item at a time. These items on your shopping list are created using letters, numbers, names of products to buy, and maybe the odd exclamation mark. Basically, you can put anything you want on your shopping list, and they can be completely unrelated. You could have a shopping list for different shops with different items to buy in each shop on your list. The items on your list don't need to be in any particular order. Because lists usually contain more than one item in them, it's a good practice to name your lists in the plural. So for example, planes, trains, automobiles, names, staff, groceries. So you get the idea. Let's now discuss how to create lists in Python. Lists are created using square brackets. So ignore the two brackets surrounding the square brackets here. Let me just see if I can fix that. There we go. So as I say, lists are created using square brackets. Items, or what we are now going to call elements within a list, are separated by a comma. Let's take a look. So as you can see in this code block, we have an example of a list with 3 elements. So as I just said, lists are created using square brackets. Inside square brackets are items on our list separated by commas. So you can see here, the first item on our list is the car manufacturer Ford, and it's a string, so it's surrounded by a single quote. It's separated by a comma. Next item on our list is Tesla, again a string, surrounded by single quotes, separated from the next item on the list, which is Toyota, with a comma. And as you can see, this list of 3 items is assigned to a variable called cars. We then use a print statement to print out the list. So let's take a look, shift and enter. There we go, our list is being printed out. Now, if you are an end user, square brackets and quotation marks is not the output that you want to see on the screen. So let's now discuss how to access individual elements of a list. Every item or element in a list has a position, and this position is called the index. You can access each element in a list by telling Python the index do you wish to access. Let's take a look now at how this is done. So again, we have the same list as just above, 3 items in our list separated by commas, Ford, Tesla, Toyota. And this list, which again is created using square brackets, has been assigned to the variable cars. So at line 3 on this code block, we have a print statement. We then have the name of our list, cars, and to access an element on the list, we put in the number. So let's hit shift and enter, and I'm going to explain the 0 now in just a moment, bear with me. So Ford prints out. As you can see, to access an element of a list, you write the name of the list followed by the index of the element to access in square brackets. To output the index to the screen, I have used a print statement. Note also, the element was returned without quotation marks or square brackets. In a previous moonshot, we looked at string methods. You'll be glad to hear that they can be used with lists as well. And let's take a look. So here again, we have the same list, cars. At line 3, we're printing out our list, cars, square brackets with a digit 1 inside to access the element at index 1. And then we've appended the title method, so .title. Let's hit shift and enter. Tesla. Now let's discuss why up above here in this example, when we accessed the element at index 0, Ford came out. And in this example, when we accessed the element at index 1, Tesla came out. When using and accessing lists in Python, the first item in a list is at position 0, not position 1. So for our list of cars above, this means that Ford, which is an item in our list, is at position 0, Tesla position 1 and Toyota position 2. So that's why in the examples above here, we access Ford by putting in 0 and we access Tesla by putting in 1. So Ford 0, Tesla 1, Toyota 2, and so on. You'll find that this ordering of lists is the same in most programming languages. To access items in our cars list at position 0 and 2, we write the following. So here we go, we want position 0 and we want position 2. Shift and enter, Ford and Toyota. Now, imagine we have a list that contains hundreds or indeed thousands of items, and you want to access the last item on the list. Without counting every item and determining the last position in the list, how would you do that? Well, Python has a specific syntax for this exact task. Let's take a look. So here we have an expanded list of cars. Ford, Tesla, Toyota, Dodge, BMW, Honda, Jeep. How do we access the last element of the list? So imagine this list was 100,000 items long or 100,000 elements long. How would you know what the last element of the list is? Well, here at line 3 in this code block, we have print cars and then within square brackets -1. What do you think this will give us? If you guessed Jeep, you're correct. Now we can access the last item on a list without knowing how long the list is. As you move into the areas of data science and data analysis, you will find this syntax very helpful as you are sometimes given lists that contain millions of items. We can also use the same negative index syntax to find other items at the end of a list. Let's take a look. So again, here we are in this code block at line 2, and we have several car manufacturers or car brands. We have a print statement accessing the element at -2 position, and we have a print statement accessing the element at -3 position. Shift and enter, Honda and BMW. Something to point out here is that when accessing the last item on a list, it is not at position -0. The last item on a list is only accessed with -1. Let's discuss now how to use items from a list. So now that you know how to access the individual items in a list, it's time to start to learn how to make use of them. Individual items from a list can be used just as you would use other variables, and we looked at variables in another moonshot. We can use f-strings. Again, we explored these in a separate moonshot. So we can use f-strings to create a sentence based on items in our list. Let's see how. So in this code block, we have our list of car manufacturers. Then at line 3, we create a new variable, and to that variable, we're assigning the following. So we start off with our f-string format. After the f, we have opening and closing quotes all the way down the end here. So opening and closing quotes. And then we have the message or the string. Welcome to the car showroom. Here we sell. Now, as you can see here, we're opening and closing curly brackets. Within the curly brackets, we place the name of our list, the index of the element we wish to access, and we append the title method. We then, after the curly bracket here, we have a comma, another piece of string, another piece of text, followed by curly brackets, again the name of our list, cars, and the element we wish to access, or the position of the element we wish to access, so position 3. At the next line we have a print statement, so we're printing out our variable called message. Let's hit shift and enter and see what we get. Welcome to the car showroom. Here we sell Tesla and Dodge. Perfect. In this example, we've created a simple welcome message in which we pulled items from positions 1 and 3 of our cars list and assigned this message to a variable and printed it out. Okay guys, that's it for this moonshot. As you can see, there's an awful lot that you can do with lists, and that's just the basics. That's just an introduction. In the next moonshot, we'll take a look, as you can see here at the bottom of the screen, or the second half of the screen, we'll take a look at more things that you can do with lists, such as changing, adding and removing elements from a list. And as always, if you have any questions, please leave a message in the discussion section of this moonshot. If you'd like to know more about Python, lists, or any other aspect of Python, please check out my Beginner's Python course and my Medium Learning Python page. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again soon.